All right, not the best lighting. It's 6:54 a.m., but we are going to film this because I don't know if I'm going to have time to film it later on, and I'd rather have something filmed than not have something filmed at all. I'm sorry, I'm just pulling up my stats for March. Okay, where is actually, hold on. I read 7 books in March. It was not a good reading month. I think I only had I had 3 books that were a 3-star for me, and it was a barely 3-star. I kind of did it more so out of guilt, except for one book. One book I actually did enjoy, but yeah, it just was a really rough month in March. I think my average rating is 2 stars, and honestly, I just feel like that's been the case. Like February, my average rating was 2.5 stars. January, also 2.5 stars. It's been a rough year. I have not really been having good reading months. I think I've just been like changing a lot of my tastes in books. Also, I want to say that I'm going to talk a lot about it in this reading wrap up, but I think I'm just kind of over certain themes that we see very common just in the world in general. And so, yeah, so let's just dive in. I have 3 physical books, I believe. Yes, 3 physical books. I have 1 book that I read as an ARC on my phone. I have 2 books that I read from the library that were physical, and then 1 book I listened to on audiobook. The first book that I read in March was Beautiful Ugly. This is by Alice Feeney. This is about a man. He's an author. He moves to this like little small island, and everybody on the island is a woman. It's kind of strange. It's a little bit M. Night Shyamalan-esque. And there is obviously a twist at the end. I did not really enjoy this book. I was very confused the entire time. Not confused as in I don't understand what's going on. I was confused as to why things were happening. I was confused as to why people had the emotions that they had. Now, if you want to be superficial, okay. Like, yeah, I can understand why people did the things that they did. But we don't live in a superficial society. We live in a society who has thought processes, who understand right from wrong, who understand that 2 wrongs don't make a right. In Greek, we would say, if you go left twice, you're going backwards. This book felt like you were forced really by this book to be as superficial as possible. You could not have rational thought in this book to make it work. Especially since like there were scenes in here that I was like, this, call the police at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't do things like this. You don't get to seek your revenge out. Like you call the proper authorities, you do whatever you need to do, but like you let the justice system work for a reason, because otherwise you get books like this. And yeah, was it good? Would I recommend it? No, actually I would not recommend this one. I think it's a beautiful title, and I usually love Alice Feeney, but I just have to admit, like recently, Alice Feeney's books have just kind of flopped for me. So I ended up giving this one 2 stars, and I don't regret it. I would do it again. I'm super over these themes. I'm so over being purposefully goaded into feeling a specific way so that we don't like certain people. Like, I'm so over this. People are not black and white. People are always going to be gray. And I'm kind of over this cartoonish characterization of perpetrator versus victim. Like, victims are not this 2-dimensional. They're just not. And same as like villains are not. Like, this is just stupid. It was the next book that I actually got to finish reading was When the Moon Hits Your Eye. This was very goofy, very silly, very funny. It was a nice palate cleanser. I gave it 3.5 stars. Was it anything special? No. Do I wish that he had done a different route in this? Absolutely, yes. We did not follow specific characters throughout the whole novel. We did have repeat characters because it's kind of just like Days in a Life. The moon turns to cheese, and this is everybody's reaction to it. The ending, 0 out of 10. Like, what even was that? That was terrible. You can do so much better. What is wrong with you? Like, why would you do that? That was stupid. That was just so annoying, and I feel as though the character's reaction to the ending was exactly correct. Like, that is exactly how you should have reacted to that kind of an ending. But it was very funny. It was very silly. Again, like a very goofy book. Will I continue reading John Scalzi? Yes, because he's just a silly, goofy boy. Like, that's all. He's just a silly, goofy boy. And I very much enjoyed his writing style. I think he's just very clever and very fast paced and just silly. He's just a silly boy. Ooh, okay. So one of the books that I read, I actually read it in a vlog. I know. I had a whole vlog. It was a mess. It was a disaster. Don't watch it. Nobody else says. But one of the books that I have read was Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism. Now, I ended up DNFing this book. I still gave it a 1 star, but I did DNF at 23%. And the reason why I DNF'd at 23% is because this book did not produce what it promised in the beginning of the book. It was going to talk about the language of fanaticism. Okay, that's the title. Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism. And I thought we were going to go more into detail of the language that is used by cult leaders to convince people to join their cult. I thought that that was going to be incredibly interesting. I was very excited for that. It's a nonfiction book. And when I was reading it, I realized this is less about the language and more just a girly little rant. And that's fine, but that's not what I was looking for. That's not what I wanted in the book. And so I went ahead and DNF'd it because it was not giving me what it said it was going to give me. It said that it was going to talk about languages, and it did not talk about languages pretty much at all. It did talk about, like, there were a couple cult leaders that it mentioned, or she mentioned, saying that they were very charismatic and that they could code switch, but then she didn't go into that. Like, she just kind of like left it at that. And I could have easily gone to Google, gone to that Wikipedia page and gotten the same information. I wanted something deeper. I wanted to know studies. I wanted to know true facts. I wanted that information without having to go seek it out. I wanted it in a book. Does that make sense? And so that's what I was looking for. I was looking for something maybe a little bit more academic. Like, I will admit that it was entertaining to read because it was very much that fictional nonfiction type of wording where it's kind of like story written. It's very entertaining. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm sorry. If you can hear Hank, he is going off right now. He is just at my front door. I don't know if you can hear Hank or not, but he is being real loud. Oh, of course he stopped now. Of course he stopped now. Anyways. So yeah, I just was not really getting what I wanted to get out of that book. And so I went ahead and DNF'd it. It was just kind of frustrating, a little frustrating. And also you could feel that they were trying to give you their politics in it as well. And when I tell you I am so over people telling me how to feel about anything, like, I am so over that. Don't even tell me how I'm supposed to feel about eating French fries. Like, I don't want to hear it. I will live my life the way I live my life. I'm so tired of these privileged, entitled authors, movie directors, celebrities. I just don't care. Just leave me alone. Do what you were meant to do. Entertain me or give me the information that I need and leave the rest alone. And I think that's kind of like the theme of March, is that I was so over being told how to feel that I was like, can you please stop? Can you just do what I am asking you to do? Can you just do what I have purchased your book, or I have rented it from the library? Can you please just do what I am asking you to do and entertain me for these amount of pages? And then let's just leave the rest well alone. Like, I don't understand. Why is that so difficult? It was really frustrating. So the next book that I read, I also gave 3.5 stars. I did enjoy this. I do enjoy this series, though. It's a series. And I read Finley Donovan Digs Her Own Grave. This was a book. It's very cute. It's very, very cute. Very funny. I did really like it. Would I say that this is like low spice level? No, I would not. I would actually argue that it is probably one of her spicier books. Is there any smut scenes? No. It is still Fade to Black, but there are like there's instances that things happen. So that's honestly the only reason why I got 3.5 stars, is because I kind of wanted to focus more so on the story and less so on the romance part of it. But we get a lot of romance in this, like a lot more than her other books, I would say. And it didn't feel as though the author was trying as hard to go about this mystery. This is the 5th book in the series, so I'm not going to talk too much about like what's going on, but I will just say that if you have been reading the series, if you are a fan of the series, this one has a lot more romance and a lot less mystery. And it's still ridiculous though. It's still Amelia Bedelia, super ridiculous type of thing. So if you have started the series and you want to continue it, this is a good book. I'm still excited about it. I am really excited for the next one though, because that one's already come out and I have my name in the hat. The book that I listened to on audiobook, I actually consumed Margot's Got Money Troubles. I forget who this is by. This is by Rufy Thorpe. I gave this book 1 star. I was really excited to read it because I saw Destiny Sidwell had read it and she loved this book. I gave it 1 star because it felt like the author was not even trying. And as somebody who is currently pregnant, has a child already, I was reading this book and it felt like we definitely had a baby out of spite. And then the baby was born and we realized that we had no clue what we were doing. And it just, how do I say this? It just wasn't for me. This book was not for me. This book is for a much younger audience who could not care less, could not be bothered any less. At this point in the month, I am very much caring and being bothered. Okay? You need an audience that doesn't care and can't be bothered. I unfortunately did care and was bothered. So I'm just going to say it was not the book for me. There were a lot of issues that I found. It was too cliche, to be frank with you. Like, that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, we're going to move on. The next book that I read was Manner of Decay. I ended up giving this 3 stars. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think I just gave it 3 stars. I don't even know if I meant it. It's the 2nd book in House of Blight. I will say that I do know the author. I am not making a whole video on this because I do know the author. She is the partner of one of my old friends. And yeah, she's very nice woman. And so I did end up giving it 3 stars. Is this one the best of her novels? It is book 2 in House of Blight, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But one of the main questions that I had is, why do we care? Why, not even just why do we care? Why does the main character care? Like, why does she care? I think that just was not, oh my gosh. Sorry, my prenatals. Oh my gosh, that tastes terrible. My prenatals give me such bad acid reflux and they're so gross. Sorry. I'm so sorry. That was probably not what you wanted to hear in a microphone. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Manner of Decay. So I just was very confused as to why the main character cared. That did not really get explained, in my opinion, well enough. I did read the book. I did finish the book. It just was mid. It was fine. It was okay. I could tell that I actually know a little bit of background, and I could kind of tell that she was like ready to move on to the novella. I feel like the novella is going to be a lot better. I just have this inkling of it because that's what it felt like. It felt like she was just trying to set that up. So yeah. Would I recommend this one? Yes, I still recommend it. Not even just because we're friends, like, because I know her. I wouldn't say that we're besties, but would I say, yeah, I would still recommend it. It's not a bad book. I just think you should go in. And honestly, the Manner of Decay book kind of inspired me to write that essay video that I did a while back about who killed literature, because what do you mean this dying sick girl is stronger than this man who has been working out his entire life, was lifting weights in the womb. Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, anyways, that kind of inspired a little bit of that. And then the last book that I read, and I actually did DNF it, was Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. I couldn't get through it. It was so boring. It was so boring, and it was so cliche, and it was so over, again, being told how I'm supposed to feel. Like, don't tell me how to feel. Just give me information and I will decide how I feel. You don't need to tell me, like, this is a sad scene, so you need to be sad in this scene. You don't need to say that. Make the scene sad. I will feel sad. You just make the scene sad. You don't need to tell me, though. Like, you don't need to say this. So, and that's how I felt. Like, I was reading this book and I was like, shut up. Like, don't tell me how to feel. Just do your job as an author. Do your job. Stop telling me what I'm supposed to think. Stop telling me how I'm supposed to feel. Just do your job of writing the story. Just get the story on paper. Because I'm so tired of this. Like, I don't know, dudes. I'm so exhausted by these authors who are just like, and this is how you should feel. Like, I know how I'm to feel in certain situations. I'm an adult. I'm not a child. Don't treat me like a child. I feel like that's the problem in a lot of the books that I read this month. Was there was a lot of show, a lot of tell, and not a lot of show. And I know that that's kind of a common complaint around critics, where they're like, why did you just tell me this? Why didn't you show me this? Like, why couldn't you have shown me that she has these feelings? Why did you have to tell it to me? Like, you know? And I do think a little bit of it is that authors are dumbing their audience down, or they're afraid that their audience is stupid. And it's kind of insulting. It's a little bit on the insulting side. Like, is there no faith that we can critically think as a reader that you have to just spell everything out for us? I don't know. It just feels a little insulting. It feels like they don't trust us to get what they are trying to pass forward. And I'm not a huge classics person. I don't really like classics, but I do appreciate that in those classics, they don't flat out tell you how to feel about something. They don't tell you. And that often leaves a little bit of ambiguity, but they leave you enough clues and evidence that you can extrapolate that out of the text. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. Is my reading taste so different from the books that I have purchased in years past that I'm just not going to enjoy any of them? Like, because if that's the case, like, I'm super bummed out by that. And because I have a lot of books. How many books do I own? I own 348 books. 348 books. And you're going to sit here and tell me that I'm probably not going to enjoy them anymore because I've grown as a person who reads? Like, no, absolutely not. I don't want to. I want to enjoy my books, but I also don't want to be told that I'm too stupid to understand a simple concept of this scene, you should be sad. Like, you don't have to tell me that. You don't have to tell me. Like, I promise you, I will get it. I will read the sadness and I would be like, wow, I'm reflecting. This is so sad. Like, you don't have to tell me though. You don't have to tell me. I promise. You don't have to tell me though. Anyways, those are the 7 books that I read. Again, my average rating was 2 stars. It was just a bad reading month. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hormonal. Maybe this is pregnancy hormones. I just like super popped and like baby is hanging down low. We don't know sorry, I have more acid reflux and it's so gross. We don't know the baby's gender. We don't ever find out the baby's gender. And by ever, I mean the one time we've had a kid, we did not find the baby's gender. So we're not finding the baby's gender out again, but they are hanging really low. And so I kind of look like the Lorax a little bit. I just look silly, to be honest with you. I just look really silly. But that's March. We're going now into April. By the way, I didn't read a single one of my TBR books except for Wild Reverence. And even then, couldn't even finish it. So there you have it. What are we even doing here, guys? What are we even doing here? And I've already finished my first book in April. Absolutely not. Like, I'm so done. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. I honestly truly don't. I'm realizing that maybe I am more interested in actually like literary fiction. There we go. Here we go. We can talk. We can talk. I am more interested in literary fiction, but I just don't want this like women are incapable of having a flaw. Like, I want a realistic woman, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I feel very complicated because I'm in a book club where it's mostly male. And they always call me the biggest feminist because I truly, truly hate how women are represented in these male dominant author spaces. I just really don't like it. There was a book that we read where the girl was both curvy and very slim at the same time. And I was like, that girl does not exist. I don't know who you're talking about. You can't have both. You can't be curvy and super skinny. Like, no. And so, like, I don't like how women are represented in male author spaces because it feels like we're just a caricature of women. But I also don't like how women are being represented in women author spaces because it just feels like this woman is a man with a wig. Like, I don't understand why this is happening. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm being way too picky. I don't know what's happening, but it feels like women in a woman author's book are toxic men with wigs on. That's how it feels. Every time I read it, that's how it feels. And then women in male author books are complete bimbos and are really just there to please men. I don't know why we don't have a middle. I just don't understand. Why don't we have a middle? So that's my rant. I don't know if I'm just having a bad day or a bad little March, bad life. I don't know what's going on. But again, this could be pregnancy hormones. You don't know. Maybe in April, like, I will just be sobbing 24/7 being like, every book was a 5-star. Actually, every book was already not a 5-star. But we don't know what's going to happen. We just don't. We go wherever the wind blows us. I don't know if that's I don't know. Oh, the lighting got a lot better because the sun's coming up. What time is it now? 7:19. There you go. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to go. Baby's going to wake up probably in like 10 minutes. She usually wakes up around 7:30 right now. So I'm going to go, and I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Please tell me, what did you read in March? How was it? How did you enjoy it? What was going on? What were your thoughts? What were your feelings? What were the words that you used? Did you have a good reading month? If you did, like, tell me what the books you read, because obviously I'm just picking bad books or something. I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Okay, thanks. Bye.